Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Today, we're diving into a heartbreaking family drama full of secrets and painful suspicions, when the person closest to you might actually be the one who hurts you the most. Can you still trust them? If you love emotional stories like this, don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss what happens next. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into another emotional roller coaster of family drama, secrets, and heartbreaking choices. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because these stories only get more intense. In a stuffy little room, Thắm sat, curled up on the edge of the bed, her pale face wet with tears that just wouldn't stop. The pain of losing her child was still so raw, cutting into her every breath. She sobbed uncontrollably, whispering through the tears, "Why does my life never find any peace?" Quinn, her husband, sat right beside her, his voice low and warm, but heavy with worry. He gently wiped her tears away, then pulled out some money. "Take this," he said, voice trembling. "You haven't had money to eat these past few days." Thắm hesitated, but eventually took it. She started telling him everything: how his mother had come over, how they argued fiercely, and how she was forced to apologize even though she did nothing wrong. The exhaustion finally broke her completely. "Why do I have to endure so much?" she cried. Quinn pulled her into his arms, his heart twisting in pain as he felt her fragile body shaking against him. The whole room felt heavy, filled with her sobs and his clumsy attempts to comfort her. In that moment, you could see the pressure of their family closing in from every side. Quinn promised he would stay by her side and protect her, but deep down, vague doubts about hidden secrets were already starting to stir inside him. And right there, the big question hit us all. The person closest to you, could they actually be the one who hurts you the most? All right, let's jump into the full story. The tension exploded right from the beginning. Thắm was still recovering, physically weak but emotionally shattered. Every word she spoke carried the weight of her loss. Quinn listened carefully, his face serious. Then he looked straight into her eyes, his voice becoming firm and resolute. "I trust my mother completely," he said. "She sacrificed everything for me, my whole life. She could never harm you, no matter how poor or difficult things got." But then his tone shifted. Suspicion toward Tham's mother rose sharply as he remembered all the times she tried to separate them. "You have to be careful," he warned. "Don't believe everything she says right away." He promised Thắm he would protect her with all his strength, holding her tight and making her promise to tell him everything unusual that happened. Even though Thắm was still weak, they decided together to go visit his mother. Inside Quinn, a fierce storm was raging. Love for his wife pulling one way, blood ties to his mother pulling the other. Faith and doubt were tearing him apart. Thắm leaned on him, a tiny, fragile hope flickering in her eyes despite all the pressure. As they left the house and walked slowly, the air felt tense, but their bond was still strong. You could already sense the difficult conversations waiting just ahead. Meanwhile, in a small dim house, Quinn's mother sat completely alone at an old dining table. Tears rolled down her aged, weathered face. She was crying because her own son now suspected her of harming Thắm, something she swore she had never done to anyone in her entire life. Memories flooded back. Little Quinn sharing his cake with her, running home crying when he was wrongly accused at school. Now he was grown, and that same son thought she was cruel. It broke her heart. "Quinn, my child," she whispered through sobs, "you are my flesh and blood. Please don't turn your back on me." She feared that if he listened to Tham's mother, he would stay angry with her forever. Loneliness swallowed her whole as she lived by herself. She kept wondering why her life was ending in suspicion and injustice. Every time she tried to talk to her son, Tham's mother would show up and cause more trouble. She prayed desperately for the day the truth would finally come out, so her son would understand her heart. Her sobs echoed in the empty house, full of regret for the mother-son bond that used to be unbreakable. She clutched her trembling hands, fragile hope mixing with heavy pressure, while she waited for him to return. At the same time, Tham's mother sat in her own house, her face showing clear loneliness and simmering anger. She complained that her daughter was now fully with her husband and her son Quinn, hadn't come home for days. Feeling too lonely, she picked up the phone and called him, her voice sad and tired. "What are you so busy with that you don't come home? Mum is all alone here." Quinn answered. He was busy, but promised, "I'll visit you tomorrow." His mother lit up with joy, saying she would cook dinner and wait for him. She told herself that as long as she could bring him back to her side, everything wasn't over yet. Deep down, her anger toward Quinn's mother still burned from all the times she felt lectured. She felt exhausted by her own son suspecting her, but she still hoped to keep the family affection alive. The call ended on a surface-level warm note, yet inside her heart were deep calculations and profound loneliness. She put the phone down, staring into the distance with determination not to lose her son. As the sun began to dip lower in the sky, casting a gentle golden glow through the trees, Quinn and Tham walked slowly along the quiet path toward his mother's house. Tham still looked drained from everything she had been through, her steps careful and weak. She leaned closer to her husband and whispered with worry in her voice, "I'm scared your mother will think you're pulling away from her because of me." Quinn squeezed her hand tightly, his deep, warm voice full of love and reassurance, as he replied, "My mother doesn't think that way at all. I know she truly loves me." But Tham couldn't hold back her inner pain any longer. She poured out her fears, terrified that Quinn might abandon his mother one day because of her. Yet Quinn stayed strong and resolute, looking straight ahead while saying, "No matter what happens later, I will not leave Mom. I just don't want anyone to hurt you anymore." He told her he wasn't heartless, that he cared deeply about both sides. Tham rested her head on his shoulder as they walked, her heart torn between growing affection for her mother-in-law and the deep fear of losing everything. You could feel Quinn's own heavy pressure in every silent step. He was stuck right in the middle, between protecting the woman he loved and honoring the blood ties to his mother. The gentle afternoon light mixed with the soft autumn breeze, creating this lingering sorrow around them, but also tiny sparks of fragile hope. Each slow footstep seemed to press on old, unhealed family wounds, yet their quiet bond kept them moving forward together. The air felt thick with tension, foreshadowing the emotional storm waiting at his mother's door. They finally stepped inside the familiar house, where the warm scent of rice still lingered in the air. Quinn's mother was already sitting there, her face tired and filled with sorrow. She invited them both to sit down, her voice shaking as she began to defend herself. "I didn't do anything to harm Thắm, my child," she said, eyes pleading. She explained calmly that the miscarriage might have happened because Thắm had been traveling and exhausting herself so much lately, not because of any cruel action from her. Even when angry, she insisted she would never hurt her own daughter-in-law, and she promised not to make Tham's life any more chaotic from now on. Quinn quietly handed her some money. His mother hesitated for a long moment, but then accepted it with deep emotion because she could feel her son still cared. The whole room became heavy with unshed tears, apologies, and raw explanations. Thắm sat silently listening, her heart still clouded with doubt, even as she tried hard to hold back. In that powerful moment, Quinn stood right between the two most important women in his life, his heart aching sharply as he felt his mother's loneliness and his wife's lingering fear at the same time. His elderly mother looked up at him, a small flickering hope shining through her tear-filled eyes. The scene carried such raw emotion, ending with the image of her trembling hands holding that money like a fragile thread of affection, slowly trying to reconnect through layers of suspicion and the hope for forgiveness. Later that day, the atmosphere inside Quinn and Tham's house shifted into something temporarily warmer when Tham's mother arrived for a visit. She stepped in gently, her voice soft as she apologized right away for causing discord the last time she was there. She sat down close to her daughter, urging Thắm to stay strong. "What happened is something no one wanted," she said kindly. "You're both still young, and you'll have another chance later. The most important thing is that you two are still together." She turned to Quinn with warm, affectionate eyes and told him how, from childhood until now, she had never seen him change so much for anyone except Thám. Thám managed a weak smile and invited her mother to eat some sweet fruit. Soon, the whole group was sitting around the table, sharing awkward little laughs mixed with caring words like, "Eat a lot so you'll get healthy." On the surface, everything looked peaceful and harmonious, but underneath, you could still feel the fatigue and suspicion quietly simmering in everyone's hearts. Quinn sat there quietly observing, his own heart heavy as he balanced his love for his wife with the complicated affection he felt for both mothers. Thám leaned gently against her husband, holding onto a fragile hope that maybe all the arguments could finally stop. Tham's mother hid her own deep loneliness behind a polite smile, while old memories of past conflicts still lingered in the back of her mind. The warm lighting in the room created beautiful contrasts. Soft smiles on the outside, but eyes full of hidden doubt on the inside. The camera slowly zoomed in on each person's face, letting us feel the tension that refused to disappear completely. As the scene faded, we saw hands gently holding pieces of sweet fruit, a small symbol of this fragile family bond, trying so hard to hold on amid all the pain, the unspoken doubts, and the quiet longing for real peace. But even in that moment, the echo of Tham's heartbreaking sobs from the very beginning still lingered in our minds. The truth feels like it's getting closer, yet the question remains painfully loud. When it finally comes out, who will end up hurting the most? If you felt every twist and emotion in this episode, drop a like, leave your thoughts in the comments. Who do you trust more right now, and why? And don't forget to subscribe, because the next part is going to dig even deeper into these secrets. See you in the next video. In this emotional family drama, Tham is still devastated after losing her child, breaking down in tears as she questions why her life has become so painful. Her husband Quinn comforts her, offering money and promising protection, but deep suspicion begins to surface. Quinn firmly believes his own mother is innocent, while quietly suspecting Tham's mother of trying to separate them. Caught in the middle, Quinn struggles between his love for his wife and his loyalty to his mother. Meanwhile, both mothers suffer in loneliness, one fearing her son will abandon her, the other desperately trying to pull him back. A tense visit and temporary reconciliation bring the family together around a table of sweet fruit. But underneath the smiles, doubt, and hidden pain continue to simmer. Will the truth finally come out? And when it does, who will end up hurting the most? A powerful story of love, betrayal, and fragile family bonds.